half in the bag. What do you got there, Jay?
Oh, since Godzilla vs. Kong is out, I thought I'd go back and revisit all the other movies in the MonsterVerse.
Oh.
You know, Godzilla 2014, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of the Monsters,
Oh, yes,
and Dick Shark.
Why, that's funny. I was also about to watch Dick Shark. All right. Oh, it's staying in. No, this is not porn. Porn doesn't look like this. If you equate nudity with porn, you are immature. Godzilla vs. Kong is the most absurd movie that director Adam Wingard has ever made. It combines tragedy, comedy, science fiction, exploitation, and surrealism. Don't let the vulgar title fool you. Yes, there is an abundance of nudity, but there is also a bizarre mixture of concepts that make for quite an experimental film. See what can happen when creativity has to replace a big budget. Hi. You watched Godzilla versus King Kong?
Yes,
We just watched it on our huge TV at
on our
Mr. Plinkett's house.
127-inch television.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's great. It's streamed right to HBO Max. 101,000 people saw it.
Although some people did see it in theaters. It's like the highest grossing movie of the pandemic.
Wow.
It made like almost 10 million opening day,
Wow.
which I guess is pretty good for right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, the pandemic is, I guess, slowing down a little, so
Starting to.
people are getting their vaccines, people can go back to the movie. This felt like a movie, like, it was the first movie where I was like, oh, I should be watching this in a theater. It's, like, brand new, and it felt like that, you know, I mean, it is one of those big tentpole blockbuster movies, and
Yeah.
it kind of feels weird not watching it in the theater. I don't know if that would make any difference.
It helps. Well, the sound would make a difference. Before we get into the movie, we don't talk about sound very much, but after watching the other movies recently as well, which we both did separately, the sound for this movie was a lot beefier and took a lot more advantage of the surround sound and like overhead speakers and stuff. Like Godzilla's tail will flip past you and you hear it go above your head, and the sound mix was wonderful.
And the number of people who have a pimped out Dolby Atmos surround sound system in their home is 5.
That's okay. If you have a little 20-inch TV, just turn it up really loud.
Okay.
It'll create the same effect.
Create the same effect. Have a little Michael Scott mounted flat screen.
A lot of people in the room, you need more space. Voila, right into the wall. Wow.
Well, what did you think of the film?
This is both a pro and a con. It felt like it was written by a child. The titular Godzilla vs. Kong stuff, in the best way possible, felt like a little kid just smashing toys together. Especially the last 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just completely absurd.
The whole movie was absurd to me.
It was weird, especially after rewatching the other ones, because those. We were talking about this off camera, but I think we both, in rewatching, have a greater appreciation for Gareth Edwards' Godzilla.
Yes.
It has some trite family drama stuff that most of these movies suffer from, the boring characters, but it felt so grounded and real as far as the way Godzilla is integrated into his environments and the way it's shot. With the, it's all very kind of ground level shots, looking up, and you get a real great sense of scope of Godzilla. And they're using tanks, and they're using real world weapons and real world attempts to take control of the situation. And then in this movie, they're flying around in little magical spaceships to the center of the Earth.
And Tron vehicles. This one. Jump the shark. I don't know, but I think I liked it. See, I'm post-traumatic monster movie right now because I don't know. You rewatched them all, so did I, over the span of maybe 48 hours.
Yeah.
Where I think I was numb watching this fourth one. So it probably wasn't a good thing to do that. I mean, I went back to kind of like revisit, and I never seen Kong Skull Island before, so that was new, but I seen the other two. And so I think I was just like, but even with that, I think I liked this one the best. It may be tied for the 2014 Godzilla.
They're so different.
They're all very
even though they're in
different.
the same universe.
They're all very different, but they're all very the same. And that's the thing is like this one felt a little more like crazy and bizarre.
Yeah, which I know the original, like I'm not an expert on the Godzilla movies or anything, but you compare like the original 50s Godzilla to some of the later sequels with like Baby Godzilla. Oh, I also watched King Kong versus Godzilla from the 50s, and that movie is pretty ridiculous. Those movies do get absurd, and this movie is, I guess, kind of following in that tradition, where it's like, we're just gonna try a bunch of goofy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
They very, very wisely cut down on the human drama stuff in this. The human characters in this movie are almost like utilitarian. They're just there to get the monsters fighting. There's no dumb, like, estranged father bullshit. You could still cut out Millie Bobby Brown and her whole fucking subplot.
That was, I think, the least interesting.
That's like whenever she shows up on camera, just start like checking your email or something until you hear Godzilla roar again.
And the conspiratorial podcaster guy.
Yeah.
I just got Michael Bay vibes, you know.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like that.
It doesn't get that, like the dialogue isn't that annoying or comical, but it's in that vein.
Yeah, and then just the overabundance and over fantastical science fiction-y stuff in this was just, you know, out of control. And you could explain it away. Since the Titans appeared, mankind really stepped things up and started.
It does take you out of it though, especially after watching the other ones, where they feel mostly real world.
Right.
And now all of a sudden we've gone like full schlock sci-fi.
Yeah. The plot is King Kong is on Kong Skull Island under a holographic dome to simulate Kong Skull Island so that he's protected so that Godzilla doesn't come and find him. Because they know Godzilla has, I guess, gone around and just killed all the other Titans.
Let's happen off camera between movies.
Yeah.
It's like Newton Hicks in Alien 3.
Sure.
They're all gone.
They're all gone. He just killed them all. Even Mothra, who saved him in the Godzilla King of Monsters. But anyways, so that's the premise, is that they're hiding Kong, and then billionaire tech guru guy, your Elon Musk-ish kind of guy, bad businessman, is developing Mechagodzilla secretly in his tech lab, and they keep testing it because he wants to make tons of money. And then he also, I think it's more of a primal urge to make mankind.
We want to be alphas.
On the planet again, and I'm tech businessman, and I'm bad guy, and but their Mechagodzillas only have 40% power. It needs the fabled element that exists in the hollow Earth, which everyone thinks is a theory. So Alexander Skarsgård is a crackpot college professor who wrote a book about the hollow Earth theory, which goes all the way back to hollow Earth comes up in all the movies, but it's all theoretical.
It's called the hollow Earth theory, that there are these massive underground spaces isolated from the surface world.
The vortex
was a tunnel into the hollow earth. It's a subterranean tunnel system that connects the entire planet. It doesn't matter.
But the hollow earth, you go through like a spatial rift vortex that shoots you at light speed
Yes.
into the center of the earth.
That's why you got to go in your little Tron vehicle.
The Tron vehicle can withstand the pressures of the gravity pressure of Earth.
They hope. No one's ever done it before, but I guess they're just taking a shot.
Yes. So tech billionaire asks Alexander Skarsgård, and then Alexander Skarsgård says, I guess that maybe in the Titans' DNA, they all kind of know where the hollow earth is, because like homing pigeons or like fish swimming upstream, they all subconsciously know where to go back to where they were born. Mm-hmm. Throw it out there. Sure. And they're like, let's go with that.
Sure.
Let's drop King Kong in Antarctica and hope that he knows how to get back to the center of the earth. Because if Kong goes down there, he might find magical crystals, space rocks that are anti-gravity that contain massive amounts of energy in order for us to power up our Mecha Godzilla to maximum power. That's the tech billionaire guy's angle, and he sends his poor daughter down there on this suicide mission. Instead of going himself, he sends his daughter. She's incognito, secretly working for whatever that company's called. Aeon Flux or
Apex.
Apex. Yeah. I had all the letters. Anyways, and then so Alexander Skarsgård goes to Lady.
Rebecca Hall.
Rebecca Hall,
Whatever
yes.
her character name is.
Yeah, it's Lady. A lady with daughter. And she's the Kong Whisperer. She's the lady who she's the Diane Fossey character. She looks over King Kong, but little does she know her adopted tribal daughter from the original people that lived on Skull Island, who were all wiped out when the storm came. Mm-hmm. She's the only survivor. Don't cut all this. I know you're thinking about it.
You always think I'm going to cut
He's always thinking that he's cutting all this. I see the gears working.
No, I'm just, as you were saying that, I was thinking about the fact that, like, that's another thing that I guess that happened in between movies.
It happened in between movies.
I mean, I know Skull Island took place in the 70s or whatever.
Somewhere between 1973 and 2021, this storm, which is perpetually circulating around Skull Island, somehow like moved and just killed everybody and then moved back. I don't know. He asks Rebecca Hall and he says, listen, I think Kong will lead us down to the center of the earth. Because Kong has realized he threw a tree up and broke the dome. It's like a Truman Show dome.
Yeah.
And he's like...
We see at one point, he's broken it in several spots, which made me wonder why he didn't just smash the whole fucking thing down.
He could have gone up to the wall of it, and start pounding on it. But maybe he's just like, I know what you're doing, but I'm okay with it. But eventually they're realizing their little captivity dome is not going to last for very long. Yeah. So I think he says, like, Kong will be safe in the center of the earth. Let's take him down there. Also, I want to find out if the hollow earth is real. My brother died. His brother died trying to find the hollow earth. That gives him personal motivation. Oh. Because his brother, I guess...
Such an important piece of information. I completely forgot about it.
He looked at a photograph. That's when I cried. He looked at a photograph of a character we've never seen before.
Everything is like the sevens and the sevens.
Sure, there's a motivation.
Get through it.
He looked at a photograph of his brother who went down in probably some kind of conventional undersea craft and then got smashed.
Not a Tron ship.
Not a Tron ship from the tech billionaire guy who has futuristic, awesome technology that's amazing.
Yes.
So he says, let's take King Kong and he's going to lead us down to the center of the earth. The tech guy's daughter is secretly there to find the magic crystals that will power the Mecha Godzilla. So they're on this special mission. Therein lies the setup of our plot. It's funny because on the whim of a tech billionaire, just asking a crackpot professor on a vague theory. And asking a favor of Rebecca Hall, can we take Kong? That precipitated this gigantic operation where no one else had any input on whether or not it should happen. Monarch, the U.S. Navy, lent 55 of their giant naval vessels, which all got destroyed, and then just letting Kong loose.
Yeah.
I mean, this should have been debated before Congress for like months before it happened. You know
That's what would have happened in Shin Godzilla. That whole movie is people sitting in boardrooms discussing what to do.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't give a fuck. Which, as I said, like, it was written by a child. That's a
Yeah.
good thing and a bad thing. There's the one part of me that wants a slightly more interesting plot, even though it is Kong versus Godzilla. But then there's the other part of me that appreciates that they were just like,
Yeah.
fuck it. They embrace the absurdity of it all.
Yeah. It is like a child in his bathtub, like playing with a Godzilla and King Kong toy.
There's that shot, yeah, that first big fight between Kong and Godzilla on the aircraft carriers, where we see Kong like look down and he sees 1, 2, 3, and he's like planning out his path of destruction.
Great set piece. Great.
It is. Oh
sequence.
yeah. When they are fighting, when there's monster stuff happening, the movie is a lot of fun and visually creative. The whole Hong Kong fight at night with all the neon, like.
Yeah.
That's one of those things where it's like, this is directed by Adam Wingard, and this is the classic case of you take an indie director and you give them a giant movie because you can control them, basically.
Well, he shoots 11 scenes with people on small sets, and then an army of CGI artists.
That's the case too.
and
But
previs people and shot scene coordinators and everybody else does everything else.
But the idea, like having all that neon, like that it feels that there is some sort of connective tissue to something like The Guest, like a much smaller movie.
I think that is the biggest stretch of logic I've ever heard.
Not at all.
I see no connective tissue between this.
Aesthetically, neon, brightly colored, garish neon lights. The score is a combination of like orchestral and kind of electronic stuff.
Okay, so we got four Godzilla movies, but Gareth Edwards, rewatching Godzilla, it kind of had like that Rogue One-ish look. It kind of, there were certain shots and the color tones and stuff. I felt like maybe a slight, vague fingerprint of Gareth Edwards. I haven't seen Kings of Summer or anything else by Jordan Voight Roberts. Michael Dougherty, of course, I've seen Krampus, one of the best films ever made. A film that should have won an Academy Award for its sound design.
As should this film.
Sure.
Why not?
I don't know, what did he do?
He did Trick or Treat.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And then this, Adam Wingard. The only other film I've seen of his is The Guest.
And You're Next. And Blair Witch.
Oh, yeah. You're Next. Yeah, You're Next, of course. And Blair Witch, I don't remember anything about it. But
I don't think Adam Wingard remembers anything.
No,
about it.
I don't see any particular director like thumbprint.
Well, it's hard to say with Kong Skull Island because I haven't seen the other movie he did. But watching that movie, I had like Sam Raimi flashbacks, that kind of like just embracing the absurdity of it all.
For a little bit, you mentioned that before I watched it, and certainly the opening shot.
Yeah.
When young John Goodman's falling from the sky, it's exactly the same opening as Army of Darkness.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm not thinking about like specific shots or anything, just the general tone of it.
Oh yeah, but
It's
there's a
very
couple
goofy.
of like snap zooms and kind of like funny moments, visually funny, kind of creative moments. I think that, I don't know, maybe Skull Kong Island, whatever these movies are called. Maybe that was my favorite. I think King of Monsters was my least favorite. King of the Monsters.
In rewatching it, yeah, because it has the tired family drama stuff, and it also, this movie wisely, when the big fights are going on, it rarely cuts away to the boring human shit.
Yeah.
It lets them fight for long periods of time because that's what you want to see, and it's fun.
Correct.
In King of the Monsters, they're cutting to Vera Farmiga and the early edition guy and all their boring shit nobody cares about.
That gets way too bogged down in that, and then it becomes way too like ridiculous. The orca machine, and then Millie Bobby Brown, whatever her name is, she grabs He grabs the Orca machine and runs to Fenway Park and like plugs it into the sound booth and figures out how to work it, and it just becomes this like convoluted mess, and I get like a headache.
And pretty much every monster fight is marred by snow or rain and shaky cam, and it's all like murky and hard to follow.
Yeah.
Skull Island and this movie both, or everything's just like completely clear.
It's a little
We
clean.
hold on these wide shots, you can see what's happening.
Fights in the daytime. I like the fights in the daytime.
And I think that was something after King of the Monsters came out, and it didn't do great. It got like meh box office, and the reviews were complaining about that. Like everything's at night in the rain or the snow, and it's visually ugly, and you can't follow what's happening very well. And I think they actually pushed back Godzilla vs. Kong to like correct that. I know they pushed it back because King of the Monsters didn't do great.
I noticed it like in Hong Kong, it just suddenly becomes day.
That's fine.
So the sun came up. Yeah. Hong Kong got knocked down.
It's
and
a passage of time. That's
they were,
okay.
They were sleeping there for a little while.
It's a nice way to break up the fighting. The cool nighttime Hong Kong stuff with
You
the
get a little
neon
bit
lights.
of both. Yeah. You want that night aesthetic, but you don't want the whole thing at night. You certainly don't want the Matthew Broderick Godzilla kind of, aesthetic going on. Sure. But
Well, that was to mask bad CG.
yeah, some interesting notes though, not related to Godzilla, directed by the Gareth Edwards who did the Star Wars. It has Elizabeth Olsen in it, and also Aaron Taylor Johnson, aka the Kick-Ass guy, who I did not know when I watched this, rewatched it until like the end of the movie. I realized he was Pietro Maximoff, aka Quicksilver. So him and Elizabeth Olsen, they play husband and wife in this, and then they play brother and sister, like the same fucking year in a Marvel movie.
Was Age of Ultron the same year?
I think so.
Okay.
2014, I think they just walked off this set and they just crossed the little alleyway and walked into a different soundstage and just kept filming. Some guy came by, sprayed his hair, gave him a different hairstyle, and they changed the costumes.
At least they didn't forget which set they were on at any point, and on the set of Age of Ultron, they just started like making out or something.
Yeah,
that
that would have been weird.
Yeah.
Wrong movie. Anyways, and then Kong Skull Island also is a Marvel cast reunion. Brie Larson, Tom Hiddleston, aka Loki, and Samuel L. Jackson. And then for a long time, I'm watching it, and there's that one guy who's a scientist man. The actor's name is Gregg. And the whole time I watched the film, I thought it was Marc Evan Jackson, who is the S.H.I.E.L.D. guy. Clark Gregg is not that guy. Here's two pictures of the two guys. They look very similar, so I was very confused.
Sure.
And I thought there were 4 Marvel actors in Kong Skull Island. And then I looked it up, and I'm glad I looked it up, because I don't want to be racist saying all these white guys look alike. Okay, because they do. They should have got the guy from The Guest to play Alexander Skarsgård's character.
Sure.
Those
I was
guys-
actually thinking
those
about
guys
that at one
kinda
point.
look alike,
And I also
right?
noticed in the opening credits of this that Lance Reddick is in it. And it's like, oh, Lance Reddick, he was in The Guests. Now, Adam Wingard's doing this big movie. He's bringing some of his guest cast back. And I think Lance Reddick, he's in the opening credits of the movie, and he has like one line.
This is the day we feed. I've given the order, Doctor.
I think I really like that Kong Skull Island.
You know what? That movie, that movie's about Kong. I love King Kong in general. I'm not a big Godzilla fan. But the smartest thing this movie did was make King Kong the protagonist of the film.
Yeah.
Not some boring ass human character. This is King Kong's movie.
Yeah. He opens it and closes it. Mm-hmm. It starts with him taking a nap, waking up from a nap. Yeah, he's definitely our hero, and Godzilla is definitely sort of the antagonist. I mean, he's portrayed more menacing and evil than the other films, where he kind of looks cute.
Yeah.
This, he looks really kind of nasty.
Well, they got to get around by this point. They say he's like our protector. He protects us from other titans, they call them, the monsters. And so you kind of got to get around that. And it's like, we got to have him, one of them has to be a villain.
Yeah,
so,
one of them has to be sort of bad.
So now he's turning on us, and we don't know why. And it turns out it's because of he recognizes the power that's controlling the Mechagodzilla.
Well, here's where things get weird. In the post-credit scene of Godzilla King of the Monsters, Charles Dance, who does not appear in this film.
I was wondering about that.
Maybe he just died or something. Either the character or Charles Dance. I don't know. But he preserved one of the heads of Ghidorah, which has been proven to respawn itself. Or to, it grew its head back because it's an alien.
Right.
And so Charles Dance has preserved its head. And so that does carry over into this. He must have sold it to Elon Musk. And
again, another thing, I guess that happened off camera at some point.
Then they connect its brain or its skull.
Yeah, not even its brain, its skull.
You think
it's hollowed out skull.
Yeah, it should have been like a floating dragon head in a jar that was alive.
Something more biological.
Yeah, because that was the idea of it, right? They said like that's really what was controlling it, or that the guy.
It's got a bunch of more neon. We got a bunch of neon tubes coming out of the skull
of a giant dinosaur skull, and this guy's sitting in the middle of it with like a VR headset on, controlling Mechagodzilla. Mm-hmm. I thought it would be like connected to the brain of
someone was laughing while they were writing all this stuff.
It should have been a big dragon brain in a jar. I mean, that just would have been beautiful.
If it was
the
a
skull
floating,
was interestingly funny.
Yeah, but like a head that's like floating and still alive. And yeah, that would have been fun.
Yeah, like looking around, and that's really what ends up like. Then the guy who's controlling it goes and his head melts, and his head blows up or something, and then the dragon head is really controlling the Mechagodzilla. Because I think that's what Godzilla is attracted to. That's why they have to shoot around the Earth to do their test runs.
Yeah.
With the skull crushers.
Yes, from Skull Island.
Yes, they're like they just use them as like bait to practice the Mechagodzilla on. And then Godzilla's like, "Oh, what's that?" And I'm gonna come get you. And then they shoot around and. What? What else happened? What?
These are dangerous times.
They did show Kong climbing up a building as a cute little reference, but then the building fell over.
The building immediately collapses. It's pretty funny because that's the same problem they ran into with the old King Kong versus Godzilla, is that Kong in the original movie, he climbs the Empire State Building. That's the most famous image for the movie. But Godzilla is larger than the Empire State Building. So how do you have them fight? I guess he's just bigger now.
That's what they said in Kong Skull Island.
They say he's still growing or something like that.
He's younger then, and now he's got a little gray. He's a little bigger. So I think,
which is fine for this because this is a reset. This is a new series of movies.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It doesn't matter. The most iconic image is Kong holding the lady, and that is repeated in all the Kong films. They had a remake in the 70s where he climbs up the World Trade Center, right?
With Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, and that's the iconic image, is Kong holding the blonde-haired lady, climbing the Empire State Building, and helicopters trying to shoot at him.
Yeah.
And they have a little tiny nod to that in Kong Skull Island when he picks up Brie Larson, remember? Kong loves the lady. He's like, ooh, a lady, and he feels protective of the lady.
Yeah.
That's the Kong thing. But then he picks up Brie Larson, and then a battle happens, remember? Mm-hmm. And he's holding her, and he's fighting like a dinosaur. And I'm like, don't drop Brie Larson, or she's gonna call you sexist. Aaron Taylor Johnson was a bomb expert.
Yes, that was his thing. He's the only one that could do the job at the end of that film.
Then Bryan Cranston dies.
I guess that was supposed to be a bit of a subversion, like Janet Leigh dying early in Psycho. Because that whole movie was promoted on Bryan Cranston being in it, and then they kill him off so early on. And then you're stuck with boring-ass, kick-ass guy.
Yeah.
That's, again, this movie. They're not too concerned with the human characters, to the point where all the main human villains just get dispatched like they're nothing.
Can we come up with a name? I noticed whatever that guy, the tech guy. What's his name?
I don't know.
What was this character's name?
I don't know.
You remember Charles Foster Kane
I do.
from Citizen Kane. You remember that character's name. Why don't you remember the tech billionaire's name from Godzilla vs. Kong?
Oh, because one's an interesting character, and one is the guy that made Mechagodzilla. I mean, that's the first thing that I think of off the top of my head.
What I want to do is make a Mechagodzilla. You run a newspaper, Mr. Kane, and we don't have that kind of technology yet. I'm trying to commingle the Citizen Kane verse with the monster verse.
Sure.
Yeah. Orson Welles really cut his hand in that scene.
Is that true?
When he broke the mirror, and he kept going.
I heard in this movie at one point Godzilla cut his hand while toppling over a building, and he kept going.
And a bunch of computer programmers fell out. Oh! My job 50 hours a week is to animate the lighting on his fingernails. Thank God I'm dying.
The sweet release of death.
Sweet release of death. I was in charge of the water droplets flying through the air.
That's something fun you can do as an audience member, is when you get to the end of one of these types of movies and you get we've joked about the wall of names that just goes on and on. Just think about how every one of those people wishes they were dead.
They were. It's like a virtual sweatshop. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention the moment the tech guy. I'm just going to keep calling him the tech guy. When he dies, there's that all this noise, and then that moment when someone realizes that they're about to die, and the soundtrack drops out, and they go, "Oh shit! Oh shit!" Bring it all back up. What is the name of that trope? Is there a trope? Can I create it? The only other time I could think about it is at Independence Day.
Yeah, no, I know the trope you're talking about.
Yeah,
I can't think of any other specifics, but I can see them in my brain.
Yeah. There's that moment when, and then oh,
yeah,
shit.
It's like a comedy moment.
And then so and so gets killed by something.
Yeah.
Yeah. What should we call it?
The Harvey Firestein.
Yeah.
That can be his legacy.
Yes, there you go. A Firestein event.
Yeah.
A Firestein event. There's a Firestein event in this film. I also thought of a different trope. The oh no, what's next look. I thought of that in Kong Skull Island. When you hear like weird sounds coming, and all the characters turn, and the camera is on them, and they go. I'm gonna do it, okay? Ready? I guess it shouldn't be so oh no. It has to be more fearful.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do it more fearful.
Okay.
Wait, here we go. just can you add a sound effect?
I'll add a dramatic
Okay,
sting.
You just use like a lion roar.
Yeah.
Or like a dinosaur sound effect. Okay. I'm walking along through the jungle, right? Here it is. Ready?
Okay.
Can you do the sound effect though, so I have a cue?
Oh, sure.
Here we go. Can we do another take?
Okay. I think watching all these monster movies has ruined your brain.
You know what's funny is I was watching a completely different program, a show. This is true story. This is a true story. I was watching a completely different show. It was like a drama show that I'm watching. I won't say what because it's terrible. And there were characters talking, and then there was like a scene transition sound effect, and it was like a bus or something, and it cut, like an L cut with sound where it comes in from the next scene.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh no, like it's a monster, like another monster set piece sequence is about to start, and it was like in my head. And then I thought, oh yeah, that's not going to happen in this thing that I'm watching. It's just I thought like, oh no, here comes a Godzilla scene, But yeah, I think
That would have been pretty shocking if it did.
it would have been. It wouldn't have made sense. Yeah, but if a Godzilla showed up.
Kong bows to no one.
But would you recommend King of Skull Island? Or?
I would, yeah. Sure. It's one of those ones that it's incredibly stupid, but not in an annoying way. It's in a like we're just having fun here kind of way. Like this is all goofy nonsense, and it's fine. The fights are actually fun to watch.
It is good to not take your movie about giant monsters too seriously, or try to make it too dramatic with your human characters.
With the boring family drama, yeah. The estranged father. Nope, get that out of here.
Millie Bobby Brown's going to the one place she knows best. Home. Oh my God. She's going to be safe there.
Yeah.
And they always manage to find each other too.
Oh yeah.
At the end of this, I laughed out loud. Kyle Chandler, aka the early edition guy, goes to destroyed Hong Kong.
He didn't even know his daughter was there. She tried calling him at one point, and their phone call got broken up.
Yeah, I think it may have gotten through.
Maybe it seemed like she didn't even get that part of it out.
But so he gets there in like 5 minutes somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe he got in one of those pneumatic tubes.
He must have.
But did he have to book a commercial flight? It take him like 14 hours to get there. I don't know how. Military jet, Monarch, secret Monarch, supersonic jet, right?
It's all fine.
They had that big ass supersonic jet in Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Remember? And he's got to take a taxi from the airport or wherever they landed to the city center, whatever that may be now. I mean, it's just rubble everywhere. And the taxi guy's like, this is as far as I could take you. There's no roads anymore. You're going to have to climb over a Mount Everest-sized pile of debris, smoking toxic debris, to get to a small crowd of extras, of 35 extras, and then go, Millie, Dad, and then find each other in this gigantic area of destruction.
Dad!
These movies are ridiculous, but why don't I hate them? I don't hate them. I like them.
They don't push the obnoxious comedy relief. We always bring up Michael Bay.
Yeah.
They're not as dumb as Michael Bay movies. They kind of embrace the silliness of it, more so as they go along.
Yeah, they take themselves just seriously enough to give you that monster action.
Yeah.
And like it's one of those kind of they're kinds of movies where they get a pass. You know what I mean? I don't know. I guess you could say the same thing about a Transformers movie. People want to watch these giant robots fight. What's the problem? You know, And I don't know. It's a blurry line. It just who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah.
It's just a matter of taste. Do you enjoy this? I personally don't really. I was never a huge Godzilla person or King Kong guy. I just don't care. And I watch these and I'm like, okay.
The one moment that sucked though, when Kong gets back up in the city and his arm is like dislocated and he pops it back into socket.
Yeah.
He's just a big monkey. Why would he think to do that?
That's true. But that's your biggest complaint?
That's my biggest complaint.
So, want to watch Dick Shark?
I'll watch my copy and you watch your copy.
All right. Seems kind of like a private thing.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have a DVD player.